Hi, Tiffany. Thanks so much for joining me for this podcast conversation, The Stories of CSCA. I'm so glad to be joined by you today for this third podcast in this mini series we are doing. Previously, I was joined by Christina and Jeff, and this, from my perspective, is just a kind of behind the scenes look, get people excited about CSCA. What are the stories that people that attend the conference might not be privy to, might not be seeing because they're not behind the scenes like you? So I kind of love this as an opportunity to pull back the curtain a little bit and, tell the stories of what it takes to put together something like this. So by means of introduction for people who may not have listened previously, my name's Abbie Van Meter. I'm the host of the Stories Lived, Stories Told podcast and the executive director of the CMM Institute for Personal and Social Evolution. And I am really excited to be doing this collaboration with the Central States Communication Association. We're doing a couple of these pre-conference podcasts, and then I will be in person live at CSCA in April to collect stories from the participants of the conference so that we can put together a kind of really neat audio artifact of our gathering and hear from more people about how they are embodying this year's theme of translate. So Tiffany, to take it over to you, welcome again, and please introduce yourself so people can get to know you a little better.
Hi, I'm Tiffany Wang. I am a professor of communication studies at the University of Montevallo, which is located in central Alabama. But Central States has been my home ever since graduate school, where I went to the University of Nebraska-Lincoln. So really fell in love with the Midwest and the Central States Communication Association. I currently serve as the interim executive director for Central States. And then I am also currently second vice president elect. So I'm excited in the future about being able to plan our 2028 convention, which will be in Grand Rapids. But currently, I am really working on a lot of the logistics pieces for the convention, just ensuring that everyone has a good experience, that everything is well organized, kind of handling a lot of the behind the scenes details where hopefully you shouldn't notice those details because they're being handled correctly and that
Right.
having a good time and a good experience.
Yeah. I think all of us who are seeing you in our email boxes know that you are hard at work with all the communication that you're sending out. I wonder if you could say a little bit more about what has it been like to wear these two hats? What's your experience been of being in both the role of interim executive director and second vice president at the same time?
Well, I think I haven't really gotten too far into the second VP elect role because that position will officially start toward the end of the convention. So I have put some thought into thinking through what a good convention theme might be, but I am open to suggestions if people have good ideas. I am so excited about our current theme of translate. And then I absolutely love Stevie's theme for next year too, in a space where we are experiencing greater uncertainty and the unknown in higher education. I think her theme is so timely with what we're examining, and I'm excited to see what they have in store with the pre-conference. So I think that'll be a great opportunity for people to get a sneak peek about what's going to be happening next year. So I'm still kind of in the draft stage on thinking about that, and I've been
Mhm.
focusing primarily on, picking up the baton for our past executive director, Deb Ford, stepping into this role kind of mid-year, but I've been fortunate to be working with such great colleagues on the executive committee. We've tried to do the best we can to have everything be pretty seamless. So I'm also excited we're going to do some offsite programming on Thursday. So I think it'll be a great opportunity for people to see a little bit more of the Minneapolis downtown area. And we are doing a little bit later in April convention. So my hope is that we'll get some warmer temperatures than we would with kind of our usual timeline. So I remember when we were deciding which dates to go with, I went with what I thought might be warmer. Now, of course, it's the Midwest. Anything can happen with the weather. We're
True.
going to hope for a little bit warmer weather. We, I think, had a blizzard one of the previous trips into Minneapolis for Central. So we're going to hope for some better weather at this time. Travel
Mhm.
definitely is expensive. I know on
Yeah.
campus we're experiencing some budget cuts that make our travel a little bit tighter. So we hope you feel like you're getting good value for
Yeah.
the registration fee and the membership fee for Central. You'll notice we have not raised that in a really long time, and we really try and keep the experience affordable.
Yeah, yeah, that makes sense and is really good to hear about because I certainly remember really enjoying exploring Cincinnati at last year's conference, even though I think there were a couple of days of rain. So I'm with you on hoping that we
Yeah.
just have nice weather for Minneapolis. But yeah, if you're talking to the Central States people, we know not to get our hopes up too much about the weather. But I think that is such an important part of the experience that obviously there's so much richness in all the paper presentations, the panels, all of the official events of the conference that we'll experience. And I always get so much richness from the kind of informal or unexpected moments of connection of exploring the city and really like appreciating the context you're in, or going out to dinner with someone you've met or someone you get to connect with that you haven't seen in a while at this conference. So those are things that I'm looking forward to. I know that you'll probably have a busy and different experience than most conference participants, but I'm curious about what you're looking forward to about attending the conference this year.
Well, for me, I think I really get recharged. I know Jeff talked about that on your previous
Mm-hmm.
podcast, but I really love being able to see friends who I have met through grad school or through our professional association affiliation. I am a little bit more of an introverted person, so sometimes that
Mm-hmm.
can be challenging to build a professional network, especially when you work outside the region. But I have found that that has been really easy to do with Central States. And one of the ways that I really love to build my network, and I encourage my students who attend, is to participate in our Next Leaders Network session programming. I still remember Kathy and me discussing creating the Next Leaders Network in a hallway conversation. I think it was in Omaha in
There you go.
2016, where we were just frustrated by how difficult it was sometimes to break into kind of that group, right? Where finding opportunities maybe to serve in leadership roles. We were talking about how difficult it had been for undergrad students and graduate students we were working with, and how we really wish there were spaces where that was just easier to do. Then not everyone wants to go to a business meeting and
Mm-hmm.
introduce themselves to a bunch of people they don't know.
Yeah, right.
So I think these spaces are really welcoming places where you can meet people at different career stages. And we've tried to provide a variety of options. So maybe you are a person who is entering the job market. That can always be stressful in academia to
Mm-hmm.
navigate that. I know that that was far worse for me than trying to write a dissertation, was trying to
Sure.
navigate
Yes.
that job market.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe people are wanting to uh, up their research productivity. Maybe they're wanting feedback or ideas, or maybe they are just wanting to make new friends or network contacts. So we have all of those options available with longtime members who are familiar with the association, who can, talk to people. And we've tried to just create welcoming spaces for that. So we've got a lot to celebrate and a lot that we are really trying to accomplish this year. And I know Christina is really excited about the different short courses
Mm-hmm.
that we have going on. I believe we have 9 different short courses. So we've got the gamut. So I think there's a lot to look forward to. So whatever your preference is for that networking and socializing aspect, I think we have it in different formats where people can find something they feel comfortable with.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're like me and you have students, right, you're looking for where can people get free food, to keep the cost down, or where
Yes.
we listen to great music. And so I think people will find lots of opportunities for that this year at the convention, which I think is appropriate with
Mm-hmm.
us being in Minneapolis, which has such a rich live music culture. So I think
Oh,
that'll be
yeah.
fun.
Mm-hmm.
If anyone has any transportation needs, please reach out to me at csca.ed at gmail.com. We're happy to help people out.
Yeah,
Just
great.
let me know. That goes for transportation or dietary accommodations that you might have. As long as we know about it, we can really plan for that. I just think that's part of access, being able to have
Absolutely.
everybody be able to enjoy it.
Yeah, yeah. I love that you're mentioning that. Yeah, as someone who has to eat gluten free, very much appreciate that, and that is such a big part of making that space inclusive. And I'm loving the kind of invitation you're offering because what you've acknowledged is that time and money, like resources can feel so scarce, especially right now. And yet this is going to be such a meaningful gathering, and you're crafting it, so you're designing it so that it will be worthwhile for people to make that journey, to take the time to go there, and to know that there are so many different avenues for them to get so much out of this gathering. So Tiffany, thanks so much for getting into all of this. As we're wrapping up, any last words you want to say as you look forward to our gathering in Minneapolis this April?
Well, I just think just don't be afraid to reach out. If there's anything that we can help out with, feel free to reach out. We are really excited to welcome everybody to Minneapolis. I'm really excited about the convention. I'm really hopeful that we'll have a good gathering of folks. I'm excited about that. But hope that helps.
Yeah, I think that's super helpful, Tiffany. Thanks so much for all that great information. And thanks to everyone for listening as well. And we'll just look forward to seeing everyone in person in April in Minneapolis.